ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयत्। शृण्वतं स्वाकथा कृष्णा पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तना हृदयन्तस्थो हि अभद्राणि वितुनोति सुहृत्सतम् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, The Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 22, Prithu Maharaja Meeting with the Four Kumaras, Text number 37. तत्त्वं नरेन्द्रजगतम् आतताशुतं च देहेन्द्रियेषु दीसा दीसानात्मा वीरवृतानं यक्षेत्रवित्तप तायहृदि विसवगवि प्रत्यक्षति भगवान् सात्वम् अविहिसोऽस्मि. Synonyms that therefore Tavam you Nara Indra, O best of kings, Jagatam of the moving Ata, therefore Tash Tusham, the immovable, Cha also, Deha, body, Indriya, senses, Asu, life here, Dhisana by consideration, Atmavi, self realization, Avrutanam, those who are covered in that way, Ya, one who Kshetravit, knower of the field, Tapataya, by controlling Prudhi within the heart, Vishwak everywhere, Aviha, manifest, Pratyak in every hair follicle, Chak, Chakas, Chakshasti, shining, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Tam unto him, Avehi, try to understand, Sa Asmi, I am that. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. Sanat Kumara advised the king, therefore, my dear king, Prutu, try to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is living within everyone's heart along with the individual soul in each and every body, either moving or not moving. The individual souls are fully covered by the gross material body and subtle body made of the life, air, and intelligence. Purport. In this verse, it is especially advised that instead of wasting time in the human form of life and endeavoring for economic development and sense gratification, one should try to cultivate spiritual values by understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is existing within the individual soul, within the everyone's heart. The individual soul and the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his Paramatma feature are both sitting within this body, which is covered by the gross and subtle elements. To understand this is to attain actual spiritual culture. There are two ways of advancing in spiritual culture: by the method of personalist philosophers and by devotional service. The impersonalist comes to the conclusion that he and the Supreme Spirit are one, whereas devotees or personalists realize the absolute truth by understanding that because the absolute truth is the supreme predominator and we living entities are predominated, our duty is to serve him. The Vedic injunctions say that Tvam Asi, you are the same, and so I am the same. The impersonalist conception of these mantras is that the Supreme Lord or the Absolute Truth and the living entity are one. But from the devotee's point of view, these mantras assert that both the Supreme Lord and ourselves are of the same quality. Tat Tvam Asi, I am Atma Brahma. Both the Supreme Lord and the living entity or spirit. Understanding this is self realization. The human form of life is meant for understanding the Supreme Lord and oneself by spiritual cultivation of knowledge. One should not waste valuable life simply engaged in economic development and sense gratification. In this verse, the word Kshetravit is also important. This word is explained in Bhagavad Gita 13.2. Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetram iti abhidhiyate. This body is called Kshetra, the field of activities, and the proprietors of the body, the individual soul and the super soul sitting within the body, are both called Kshetravit. But there is a difference between the two kinds of kshetravit. One kshetravit or knower of the body, namely the Paramatma or the super soul, is directing the individual soul. When we rightly take the direction of the super soul, our life becomes successful. He is directing from within and from without. From within, he is directing as Chaitya Guru or the spiritual master sitting within the heart. Indirectly, he is also helping the living entity by manifesting himself as a spiritual master outside. In both ways, the Lord is giving directions to the living entity so that he may finish up his material activities and come back home, back to Godhead. The process of the supreme soul and the individual soul within the body can be perceived by anyone by the fact that as long as the individual soul and the super soul are both living within the body is always shining and fresh. But as soon as the super soul and the individual soul give up possession of the gross body, it immediately decomposes. One who is spiritually advanced can thus understand the real difference between a dead body and a living body. In conclusion, one should not waste his time by so called economic development and sense gratification, but should cultivate spiritual knowledge to understand the super soul and the individual soul and their relationship. In this way, by advancement of knowledge, one can achieve liberation and the ultimate goal of life. It is said that if one takes to the path of liberation, even rejecting his so called duties in the material world, he is not a loser at all. But a person who does not take to the path of liberation yet carefully executes economic development and sense gratification loses everything. Narada's statements before Vasudeva is appropriate in this connection. त्यक्त्वा स्वधर्मं चरणाम्बुजं हरेर् भजन आप भजन भजन आपको पतेत ततो यदि यत्र क्व वाभद्रम अभूत अम्युष्य किम को वर्त आप तो भजताम स्वधर्मता भागवतम 1:5-17. If a person, out of sentiment or for some other reason, takes to the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord and in due course of time does not succeed in coming to the ultimate goal of life or falls down due to lack of experience, there is no loss. But for a person who does not take to devotional service yet executes his material duties very nicely, there is no gain. End of purport. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जलशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते रोमपदस्वामिनिति नामिने. नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने. नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Once again, please accept my humble obeisances. I humbly bow down and seek blessings from all the Vaishnavas who are assembled in this call. And please forgive me for any interpretations or speculations. And I'm doing this for my own one's purification. So, basically, I'm summarizing these verses from purport and some real-time practical applications what I learned in Krishna consciousness. So basically, in this section, we are discussing. Like in the middle of discussions between the Sanat Kumara and Pruta Maharaj. So basically, starting from these words onwards, Sanat Kumara replies to Pruta Maharaj about the bhakti process. So, how to detach to this material world and how to attach to the spiritual activities. Although Prithu Maharaj is one of the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he knows everything, but he is asking this type of questions to the Kumaras, and because for the well-being of the kingdom, for the well-being of the normal people, so that they can understand, they can listen, and they can apply it. So, from this verse, Sanat Kumar further speaks about Bhakti Mishra Jnana. So, when we cultivate the devotional service, or else how to cultivate, that has to happen with the knowledge. So, we should know the knowledge. When you have that knowledge only, we can cultivate that devotional service. Otherwise it will become uh, tough kind of sentiment. It's okay in one context, uh, but we need the perfect knowledge in order to continue for the long run, and in order to get the full knowledge. That is what Sanat Kumara is replying to the question of Prutu Maharaj. So that's what he is saying, that we need the knowledge of the bhakti, but we are not becoming a gnana yogi. I mean, like, we are not focusing on that one. We need ultimately the knowledge of the bhakti. Therefore, he's saying, Sanat Kumara is saying, my dear King Prutu, try to understand the supreme personality of Godhead who is living within everyone's heart, along with the individual soul in each and everybody, either moving or not moving. The individual souls are fully covered by the gross material body and subtle body made up of the life, air, and intelligence. So basically, those who has desire for the attachment of liberation, they never lament for anything. Technically, they will abstract from dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Ultimately, even if they desire, the desire will be absolute moksha, that is to attain the love of Godhead or to go back to Godhead. Other than that, they don't have any desires, uh, especially pure devotees in general. So, but in the society, we are seeing so-called economic development and etc. etc. All these accumulations will be destroyed at the end of life. That's what we have seen practically in the Prabhupada's life. Krishna has taken everything, even though if Prabhupada continues in the business, he would have be a good businessman. But Krishna has taken everything and gave uh, in such a way that that is ultimate benefit for the Prabhupada only. So in life, in our life also, practically when something goes wrong in our practices or while we are practicing, it could be job situation or family, etc., etc. Krishna is doing purposefully so that he is bringing closer to him. That's what we need to understand as a practically uh, from this. And next thing, uh, basically, I want to share one example that most of the time we are lacking application part. So yesterday I attended one of the conference, and in that conference one of the session was on the human error reduction. So we are training operators, engineers, associates, etc., etc., but still we are not able to deliver the product on time. Why? Because we are seeing a lot of errors in the line, in the product, etc. We are seeing non-conformances. So we cannot, when we cannot deliver the product when there is a non-conformance. So in particular session, in particular training, so there are different things, different errors are happening in general. So like omission error, application error, learning gap error. So this type of things. The instructor is explaining about all these errors in a high level. So he's going to the brain, human brain, how it works, the left hemisphere, right hemisphere, etc., etc., etc. But the conclusion is that most of the errors are happening due to the lack of application. That's what there is a conclusion. So the operators are taking the trainings and a lot of things are going on, but still they are unable to apply it. Similarly, that's the reason we are getting a lot of mistakes. So similarly, uh, we are also lagging or could be some gap in our practices because our application part is poor. When we apply all these principles, whatever our society proper or spiritual master told us, and when we apply in our life simply, without any deviation, without any doubts, so there will not be any issues in our life as well. So lives go smooth, even though there is some karma comes, that's part of prarabdha, that will be a token punishment, but not like fully what we deserve, other than this path, out of this path. So in that scenario, like super soul is sitting in our heart and is helping each and every moment uh, to 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 advance and helping the individual souls to get closer to the and to go back to Godhead. But we are taking as a granted, and we are not what putting a lot of effort on this application part. And second thing, In the purport, Prabhupada also explaining about lot of activities are going on, but ultimately that is for economic development and sense gratification. And when coming to the application again, we need economic development, but in a in a corrective direction, to keep Krishna, Guru, everything in the center. For example, every day we are connecting in the Zoom, Japa call, and after that Bhagavatam, etc. This application is important. It's part of economic development. But the people who developed all the developers, executive, all the family of the Zoom are in this call today? No. Why? Because either at least those who are living in the PST time zone are in this call? No. Probably they are sleeping. That is nothing but the sense gratification. But we are using this application for the our Krishna conscious upliftment, or maybe like for just in general for our activity for our devotional service. So in that scenario, the our devotees are completely abstracting dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Why? Because we don't want to do any sense gratification. Whereas the normal people outside of this call or material uh, platform, they are doing their duty, nothing but dharma. They are getting a lot of money, artha, but they are utilizing for their kama, sense own sense gratification, and whatever the liberation they have, that is further economic development, or maybe some again further sense gratification. Those type of liberations they are desiring. But whereas a devotee, again, although is abstracting, but we are seeing that equation as comparable, like a equivalency tendency. Dharma, we are doing our duties, we are getting money, but we are have a desire to spend for festival like Janmashtami, book distribution, prasadam distribution, and we are not desiring. First of all, we are not lamenting and we are not desiring. Even if you are having a desire, moksha, liberation, that is our ultimate liberation, just to go back to Godhead, to go and to serve Him, because we have realized that we are eternal servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So again, in the purport, so this is the practical application what I have seen. And in the purport, Prabhupada also explaining about Tattvam Asi, that both the Supreme Lord and ourselves are the same quality, but in the quantity wise we are different. That is what we need to understand. Whereas Mayavatis, they are taking these words granted and they are giving misinterpretation on that. So we have to be very careful, and in those scenarios as well. And another last application or last thing what we have seen here in the last paragraph, Prabhupada says very clearly, either if someone who comes to this contact of devotional service as knowingly or unknowingly, they are getting benefited. But the people who are in the metal platform and they are executing their duties very nicely, they are making money, they are doing sense gratification, but there is no gain to them at all. The whole hard work will be wasted. And another thing is that by causeless mercy, we got this opportunity. So we have to take this and we have to apply in our life very sincerely so that we can advance and we cannot continue in this life. We cannot route in this life. So we will be get most benefit, and we will be eternal servants to our Guru and Prabhupada. So this is what understand. This is what I have seen, and this is my understanding. Once again, please forgive me for any interpretations or speculations. I will stop here. Thank you again for the opportunity. Please forgive me for any shortcomings. Vancha kalpataru cha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo